welcome back to Love Your Food. This week we have a really great party recipe for you. I know holiday season is just around the corner, so we have this beautiful chicken rillette. It's very much like a chicken pâté. You can make this at home. It's actually quite easy. It's based on a very ancient food preservation method where the mixed meat is cooked with its own seasoned fat, and it makes for really excellent, really super chickeny spread for crackers. So we're going to start with our spice mix here. So we have some black pepper, we have dry mustard and coriander, we have some thyme and oregano and basil, as well as some rosemary in there. All of the spices in our spice mix. And of course we have some chicken. Now we are using chicken thighs for this one. But first we're going to start with our spice mix. So let's get all of those into our spice grinder. And we've showed you this before. We're going to get everything in there, and we want that to be pretty fine. We like to season the meat in advance. It gives the rillette a really nice flavor at the end. We are using some of the fat and the juices from the roasting. So we're just going to sprinkle that on top of here. Now, rillette can be made with a lot of different meats. Traditionally, it was started with pork. Very frequently, you see it with duck. You can use it with rabbit even as well, but chicken is really easy to do at home. But you want to use something that when it cooks and is roasted this way, it's going to be nice and tender and just sort of pulls apart. So we use thighs, like quarter legs are fine too, so the leg and thigh together will also work for this recipe. You want to give everything a little bit of salt on there. And then you want to just turn everything over a little bit and get some salt on the other side as well. Make sure you get a good even coating of those spices and herbs on there. And then we're just going to place this in the pan. So we want to actually have them very close together in the pan for a couple of reasons. Number one, it's going to sort of encourage the juices to collect at the bottom, and we want that for later. So there's going to be some juices and some fat at the bottom of the pan once this is roasted. Also, it helps because when they're close together like this, the juices rise a little further and will actually help the chicken to braise a little bit in its own juices. So we're going to keep everything really close together here. Try to keep the larger ones to the outside and the smaller ones to the inside just for roasting temperatures. And we're going to put that into our preheated oven. And usual roasting time, so we're going to start with about 45 minutes for that. Alright, come take a look. See where you're at. If it looks like it needs a little bit more time, yeah, they're not quite done yet. So we are going to pop that back in. We're going to give it a little turn very carefully because you can see there are already a lot of juices collecting at the bottom of our roasting pan here. So we're trying to very carefully turn that. We don't want anything to spill out into our oven. Make that door any worse than it already is. Alright, so that needs more time, so we're going to give that another 15 minutes or 20 minutes or so. Alright, we're going to take another look here. Now, once the chicken is fully cooked, yes, that looks about right. Once that chicken is fully cooked, we're going to pull it out, and we're going to let it cool. So that is done. So while it's cooling, we're actually going to take we have some thyme sprigs from our garden here, but you can use other spices as well. Rosemary or sage work well. And we're just going to put that into the fat as it's cooling. It's going to extract a little bit of flavor from the thyme. And this is going to add just another nice little layer of flavor to that final product, so that that final pâté that we have is going to have this nice sort of green, fresh thyme aroma to it that comes from this. So to prepare your chicken, we're going to take the skin off. Now, we like using the skin. We're going to set that aside, and you can stack that up and freeze it. That's not a problem at all. And you're just going to pull that chicken off the bone. It should be, you want to wait until it's pretty cool for this. And all the bones and cartilage you can just take, set aside. You can throw it away. You can make stock out of this. Just keep in mind, some extraction of the gelatin has already taken place. Here you can see we're keeping these chicken skins for later use. But yes, some extraction has already taken place on those bones, but they can be used for stock. Now, this is all of our meat all together. We are going to do the juices next. So we have our pan here. It's still full of all these great juices, but we just want the juice and the fat. We don't want the chunks. So we are going to strain that into a measuring cup. There we go. And make sure you get all of it in there. And let it stand for a little while. You can see already the fat is separating from the juices. We want all of the fat, and we want to use some of those juices as well. Now this is the easy way to do it. If you have a stand mixer, get the paddle and just let it go. You want to start pretty slow while it's breaking all the chicken up. And we're going to be adding a little bit of the juice. And if you are pouring and you find that more juice is coming out than the fat, you want to just sort of coax the fat out with a little a little stroke of the spatula there, because we do want all the fat. Now, traditionally, this is stored in a small clay pot or a ramekin or something like that with a layer of fat on top, which you are welcome to do. We're not going to do it that way today. It's not required. It is really nice for presentation, but it's not necessary. So here we go. It is starting to look really nice. You do want to occasionally stop, scrape anything that's stuck to the paddle, give it a taste. It's a good time to adjust seasoning at this point, salt if you need it. Anything like that. You can add a little dash of even Tabasco or something in there if you want it a little more zingy. But it's a really good time now to start giving it a taste, seeing what the texture is like, and seeing what the seasoning is like. We're going to add a little bit of pepper in there. And then we're going to let this go for a little bit longer. It's not quite ready yet. It's not quite at the texture we want it at. Now that is your call. You can have it a little chunkier, or you can have it much smoother, whatever you'd like. So give it some time. It's not instantaneous. You do want to give it some time to make sure it's all shredded completely. If you don't have a stand mixer, you can do this with a couple of stout forks as well, and just pull it apart with your hands. And remember, you can also just keep adjusting the texture with the juices and the fat as well. Pretty much all the fat is going to end up going in there by the end of this recipe. So here we go. This is about the texture we want for this. This makes this really nice, really beautiful sort of pâté to set out at a party. Great to serve with crackers or on like a charcuterie tray with some cheeses and meats. We particularly enjoy this with pickles, mustard. It really goes well with that sort of thing. And there it is, just on a cracker. You can garnish it with some herbs, anything you like. It's going to have that beautiful thyme flavor from adding the thyme. You can adjust that seasoning any way you like. Just make it whatever flavor profile you want. That the spice mix you add at the beginning. And really, that's it. It's a really great holiday party food. So we hope you enjoy that. If you like that, please do like and subscribe. If there's any recipes you'd like to see Chef Caleb try on the channel, please let us know in the comments below. And remember to love your food.